We are 1 month away from the Paris Olympics opening ceremony, but the city is facing more controversy involving its famed Seine River. The waterway is set to be used for open water swimming events during the games, but officials announced that recent testing showed levels of E. coli and other bacteria in the Seine. The French government has already spent $1.5 billion trying to clean the river up. Officials remain confident the river will be up to standards ahead of the games, but that confidence may be waning just a bit. President Emmanuel Macron and Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo have promised to jump into the water before athletes dive in, but they have postponed those plans until mid-July. Let's bring in Les Carpenter. He's an Olympics reporter for the Washington Post. Les, Macron and Hidalgo join a long list of French officials who in the past have promised to jump into the Seine and never ended up doing it. We will see if that happens, but let's talk about the Seine a little bit. I mean, it's in a lot better shape than it was decades ago, but a lot of people feel it's still not safe enough to swim in.
No, and there's this tiny little bit of particle that E. coli, different ones that are kind of floating around in there that just put the levels a little too high to actually be safe for swimming. I don't know, maybe in another Olympics a long time ago, people would have looked the other way, but not now, not in these days. And so it still remains unsafe. And, it'll be very interesting to see if it will work. I think everyone's kind of holding their breath, wondering how this is going to come out.
A lot of it depends on what the weather is leading up to the Olympics, right? Because when it rains is when they have issues.
So in Paris, it's a very old kind of water system they have there. It mixes the sewer water with regular runoff water. And when there's a very big rainstorm, which happens, it seems about once a month there, a lot of those the wastewater and the regular water will mix, and the runoff will go into the Seine, and then you have wastewater in the Seine. So they need to solve that problem, and they need to make sure that when it rains, and they have to hope it doesn't pour, that water isn't running into the river.
Just to be clear here, Les, this is only the open water swimming events. The shorter, like the sprints, 100-meter sprints, the IMs, everything else, those are in regular Olympic pools.
Those are in regular Olympic pools. This is the big one, the triathlon. There's a couple long distance swimming events, but I think the triathlon is what everyone's looking to. That's kind of the spectacular one. They could have done it other places. They didn't have to do it in the Seine, but the Paris 2024 organizers really have this idea that they can have a spectacular Olympics that's in the middle of the city with the Eiffel Tower as a backdrop, and they really wanted to use the Seine, or they're going to use the Seine for the opening ceremony as well. So I think there was this sort of, we've got to try to make it work in the river. The problem is, if the water isn't safe, what are they going to do? There's a very serious possibility that it will have to be, instead of a triathlon, a duathlon. And when you think about people who've trained their whole lives for the Olympics to be in a triathlon, I don't think anyone's really excited to say, okay, well, it'll be a duathlon.
But my guess is, I think in the end they'll somehow find a way to make it work. Les, I mean, there's going to be more and more talk over the next month here now as we get closer to the Olympics. Other than the Seine, what else are you watching?
Well, security is obviously going to be a big one. Now that Russia is no longer going to be in this Olympics, I think there's a huge worry. Will Russia sponsor some kind of terrorism? Will there be some kind of a cyber attack? I think the Olympic organizers are very concerned about a cyber attack. The problem with having such a spectacular open Olympics in the middle of a city, they've never had a opening ceremony in anywhere but a stadium before, and to put it out in the middle of a river, I think really causes a concern of, well, how do you protect that? How do you, no matter how much police you put out there, no matter how much military you put out there and all the intelligence, all it takes is one thing to slip through to ruin this. And so that's a big one. I think that, costs will matter a little bit, but I think they kind of have that under control here. I just think it's, how do you make an open Olympics work after years and years and years of Olympics always being sort of confined in stadiums and kind of pushed off a lot of times in the corners of cities, not in the actual middle of the city.
Russia not being there makes a big difference just from a competition perspective. If we're talking about the games themselves, how does Team USA look right now? Are you able to handicap any of this at this point?
I mean, it'll look good. Everyone will look good without Russia there. I mean, it's a big one. If you remember in 1984, when this happened, when Russia boycotted, or Soviet Union at the time, and East Germany came along with it, all of a sudden the Olympics was wide open for the US. I think that will probably be something similar this time, but I do think France is going to have when you're a host country and you're really going all in on this, as France has, I think there'll be some very competitive teams from France as well. There'll be some others, but I do think this is a US Olympics going into it.
So we're what, a month away, and then it's what, 2.5, 3 weeks of the Olympics?
Yeah, a good 2.5. I mean, a real two, but some of the events, like some of the soccer, net starts maybe a few days before the opening ceremony. So 2.5, yeah.
Oh, it's always a great time. I realize there's some issues, but it's this intersection of politics and economics and athletics and everything else that you only get once every 2 years or 4 years. I think it's something a lot of people look forward to. So good luck with the coverage, Les, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you.